hard enough to get a guest who's busy on one hit show every year, but here's a guy coming up who's on two. Find out who that is next on another outstanding episode of Brio TV, the podcast. Hi, everybody. Bill Brio here, and welcome to another edition of Brio TV, the podcast. Well, a few weeks ago, CBC held its annual winter press preview in Toronto. It's where they promote what's coming up in the new year on the main CBC network as well as on CBC Gem. We'll see several returning series this year, including such returning shows as St. Pierre and Small Achievable Goals. But on this episode, I'll be in conversation with a performer who's been on two long-running CBC hits and for more than a decade in both instances, close to two in one. And I'm talking, of course, about Jonny Harris. The Newfoundland native is in his 19th season as Constable Crabtree on the Shaftesbury historical drama Murdoch Mysteries. This month, he's back on Tuesday nights for an 11th season of coast-to-coast encounters with small-town Canada on Still Standing. Canadians have had their elbows up for about a year now, and Harris is out to spread a little cheer and regional pride in several small towns that, frankly, have been on the ropes. Season 11 will see Harris visit places such as Glace Bay, Nova Scotia, Arnprior, Ontario, Flin Flon, Manitoba, and St. Thomas, Ontario, among other stops. I've seen 4 of the new episodes so far. There's a special warmth to this season for sure, with Harris bringing his laid-back charm and positive energy as he guides the rest of us through these towns that are on the rebound. He was also a big help to me when I was invited to appear in a small cameo role a couple of seasons ago on an episode of Murdoch Mysteries. They gave me a couple of lines as a ticket master in a train station, and I was so grateful to Harris for pulling me through the scene after some last-minute script changes. Well, when you throw a rookie into that kind of a situation, look out. But he got me through it, and here he is now, Jonny Harris. Thank you for doing this. I've been wanting to talk to you for a long time. You know, I've talked to a lot of your colleagues on Murdoch, of course, over the years.
Yeah.
But I watched 4 of your episodes of your show just in preparing for this. And the Ontario towns first. I went to St. Thomas and then Acton. I live in Orangeville. So have you done Orangeville in the course of the series?
We haven't. No. What's the population there?
30,000.
Okay.
So it's about an hour north of Toronto, and it's parallel. But we just moved there 2 years ago, and I'm really enjoying it because it's sort of, you go an hour west, and there's Stratford, and then you go to, all these little Fergus and Elora and Erin. Like, I'm surrounded by.
I just moved up there.
Well, isn't it awesome? Like,
I just moved. I'm like 10 minutes south of Erin.
Okay, so you're 20
between Erin and Georgetown.
So you're about 25 minutes from
Orangeville. Yeah.
It's just a bit east. Pretty towns, and they all have the best fall festivals.
Yeah.
And even now, like, we went on the weekend to Kitchener to do their German market Christmas thing, right?
Yeah. Okay.
It's just every weekend you could go to another one of these places and really discover some pretty cool stuff.
Well, there was a bit, when we were in when we did the episode in Acton, they were, super proud of the fall fair, and the guy. I went out and did these mini tractors, the pulling contest.
You were pulling the weight.
Mini, like sort of lawn tractor.
Yeah.
That was a blast.
Yeah.
But obviously they're super proud of their fall fair, agricultural fair, which is obviously a big thing across all of southern Ontario. But in particular, Acton gets a big draw from the surrounding communities.
But what I think is wonderful of your show in its 11th season, it's stunning, really, Still Standing, is in its 11th season. But it's never been a better time to do what you're doing in Canada.
Yeah.
To go across to all these towns. People have got their elbows up, they got the flag out, and now you're getting these stories at a time when we really need these stories.
Yeah. I think it's interesting since COVID, people started doing a lot more overland travel rather than flying away. And then that sort of led into this, Trump era and tariffs and elbows up. And it's like it's okay to be a little bit of, to be celebratory of the Canadian character. It's okay. It's not seen right away as sort of being self-congratulatory in a place that still has a lot of work to do. But it's sort of if you can't ever sort of take some time to reflect on the things that you're doing right. Yeah. Then what's the point?
Now's the time.
So I think it's sort of that's the spirit of that's being the spirit of the show from episode 1, and it's sort of interesting that the rest of the country is in this sort of gear now that seems to embrace the show.
It's perfect for your show. And I watched St. Thomas first. And I had an uncle who worked at Chrysler all his life and in Windsor. And so it's heartbreaking to see that town so hammered by the closing of factories and things. But then seeing them pivot to, was that where they had the jumbo elephant?
Yeah.
So how's your hair? How's the back of your head?
You tell me. I think I'm 3 haircuts since then.
Wow.
But I had a lot of explaining to do for a long time after that episode.
So Jonny goes into St. Thomas. There's a guy there, and there's a big jumbo elephant in town. You find out the legend of that and the trains. And then there's a guy there who's cutting hair, and he cut an elephant into the back of your head. Yeah. How long did that take?
He did the haircut took a little while, but the elephant, he did it in minutes. But he was so particular about the rest of it. And I said to this guy, I said, Malachi, I like, do whatever you want in the back, just don't cut my hair so short that when I get on stage, it's like, oh, Johnny's got a different haircut.
Yeah. There's a great reveal at the end of the episode. Right?
Yeah. I kind of love how, like, they've been watching me, like, in the live show, they've been, at that point, I've been up there for half an hour. Yeah. And I love that all the while, they have no idea that there's an elephant on the back of my head.
There's a secret.
Until
it's fantastic.
Until I turn around.
It really works.
They got it, and Malachi himself and Chuck Clare, who co-runs that barber shop with him, I remember seeing those guys howl at that joke, which was great.
Jonny Harris will be right back. Hey, it's a brand new year. Time once again to speak with Emily Gagne at Hollywood Suite. Emily, what have you got for us this month?
Well, we've got a brand new exclusive series. This is the Canadian premiere of Elizabeth Taylor, Rebel Superstar. This is a docu-series about Elizabeth Taylor that's produced by Kim Kardashian. There's a bunch of famous faces in it, but best of all, there's just some great footage of Liz.
Wow, one of the great Hollywood screen legends. Interesting, Kim Kardashian presenting Elizabeth Taylor, one diva to another, right?
Yes, exactly. So
cool.
If you're into old Hollywood and new Hollywood, I think this show's for you. But if you're into more like old school movies, we've got some of the best movies of all time.
Some of the all-time biggest blockbusters?
Yeah, the blockbuster that started it all, Jaws. We finally have it. We also have Jaws 2 if you're into non-blockbusters.
Right.
And we have one of my favorite movies, the movie that made me fall in love with movies, E.T. We have it finally.
When that bicycle went over the moon, you went over with it. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly, Bill.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Well, that's a sweet film, and it's a good place to show it. Hollywood Suite coming up this month. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you, Bill.
Here he is again, Jonny Harris.
But they used to build forts, right? And so
they built the Crown
the Crown Victoria, whatever it's called. Yeah, this big, lot of suspension. My dad had a Mercury Marquis. You could seat 45.
Same platform, yeah.
And you're sitting in one driving along with a guy who worked there, and you get this whole story of the shutdown and what happened. But it's just, it's I can't explain it, but it's heartening to see the rest of the episode and how people have just endured and pivoted to something else. A lot of artistic things in the town. Every place has a mural painted on a building, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of art going on, and just other stories that sort of celebrate the heritage but lead to something new. So has this year felt special for you, I guess, doing this season?
Yeah, I do. I feel like there is more of a kind of I don't want to sound cheesy, but there's a pride, and I think something that the CBC has always done is for such a geographically vast country, it has helped to try to provide some sort of semblance of solidarity and a unified character, and let's be interested in each other and learn about each other. And I think people are into that right now. Like Canadians are into Canada, and I think that's a great thing. And it's not, without being a slimy sort of us first attitude, but and so many towns like St. Thomas go through that change, this sort of metamorphosis, try to reinvent themselves, and when that big mainstay industry is gone, it gets decimated. But you'll see these other things. It's almost like in tragedy brings out the best of humanity. You see a lot of ingenuity and diversity, that sort of, and in a lot of places, the art scene, like you mentioned, like they've got a beautiful mural program in St. Thomas. We barely scratched the surface of it, but it's gorgeous, and all this sort of tribute towards the elephant. It's interesting, with the show. Because we've got a couple of researchers and story producers who really do amazing work, and they do their homework on the town. But always when we go to shoot and we're boots on the ground, we'll suss some things out. Maybe, like, I think I had misunderstood the sort of reverence for Jumbo.
Yeah.
Because you think this famous animal that has toured the world with Barnum and Bailey, I think it was a circus, and gets hit by a train in the station in St. Thomas, and that's where it dies. You almost think, oh, well, that's going to be like a stain on the town, but it's the opposite of that. They have a lot of, the way I tried to explain it is, it's not pride. It's not like you're proud that Jumbo died here, but I said, you guys honor Jumbo, because I had I had previously written some jokes that were a bit more, not disrespectful, but a bit more glib or flippant. And when I got there, and I was like, oh no, this is like, these people really honor Jumbo. I really got to give that some respect before I can make jokes about it.
They kind of make lemonade, right? They take lemons and they turn it into something. Yeah, you made a joke about a trunk. I think you did manage to get one in. Right?
Yes, yeah. And then the joke is that I sort of catch myself making a bad Jumbo joke.
And you see these people out front, and sometimes there's 1,000 people there, and these are 1,500. I don't know if in all was it in
That was St. Thomas was our biggest audience to date.
So that's more than they get for a hockey game, as they were saying. Like it's quite a crowd, and they all seem just very happy and delighted to be there and be entertained and see your show, but also to be sort of recognized, right, and celebrated. The one Acton, where it's the old saying, "It's worth the drive to Acton." That whole Hide House thing was such a big deal when I was in university. That's where everybody went to get a leather jacket, and it's all gone.
Yeah, I think that all closed down shortly before I moved to Toronto, because a lot of friends of mine that I would mention Acton to. Yeah. That's they all say it's worth the drive to.
That's where we went. Yeah,
worth the drive to Acton. And but I didn't. I hadn't heard of that. But I get. I think they must have done some great advertising, because everybody else seemed to have heard of it.
Yeah. And I watched the other episode too, way out in British Columbia, with I can't pronounce the town. Osuyas. Yeah. This wine field in the middle of like a desert. And I didn't know there was a desert in Canada.
I didn't either. Like, that place blew my mind. I actually first saw Osuyas when we did an episode in Lake Okanagan. So that valley... Oh my God, what is the name of the
Okanagan.
Yeah, the Okanagan Valley. Yeah. I was Napa Valley jumped into my brain, but it is kind of like that. Like driving around that area. If I didn't know anybody, I would think, "Oh, this is Nevada or California or something." I had no idea that Canada even had any geography that looked like that. It's full on desert.
It looks stunning.
It's
television.
Beautiful.
It looks incredible.
It's cool. I'd move to that area in a heartbeat, I gotta say. Yeah.
No, it's pretty cool. The other thing I'm curious about, moving to Orangeville, it's weird coming from, I lived in Brampton for many years, but grew up in Etobicoke, and the GTA is an animal unto itself. You get into these towns in the middle of Ontario, and it's just a different vibe. And I would pull up at a gas station and guys would have an F. Trudeau sticker on their truck. Like, it's a very conservative heartland. And, it's sort of off-putting when you move there. But then your show kind of reflects, it's the perfect show to demonstrate that people are people, right? Like, even though you're challenged by these images that you don't like and you see, everybody's kind of still struggling to do this in the same direction, right? Yeah.
Well, that's interesting that you put it that way. It is, because, that element does exist, but I think right from the get-go doing the show, I was kind of impressed by that there wasn't as much hick small town to small town Canada as I thought there might be.
Right.
And really that most people are, pretty decent, open, friendly, supportive people. And why anybody would fly a flag with an F-bomb on it for any reason seems to me to be an odd thing to do.
It's disappointing.
It's, like school kids are going past there on the bus every day.
Right.
Do you need an F-bomb hanging on the side of your house or the back of your truck?
Right.
It's it's kind of childish.
It is kind of childish.
Well, if you're still standing, take a seat for another short commercial break.
Here on the Mountain of Entertainment, we take crime off the streets and bring it right into your living room. We're throwing the book at boredom with every episode of Matlock, Watson, Elsbeth, and the biggest crime lineup you've ever seen. you have the right to remain entertained.
Stream Paramount Plus from $6.99 a month.
You're gonna need backup here.
Paramount Plus.
And we're back.
So do you shoot the series generally in the summertime? How does that work for your because your schedule, you have a full schedule working on Murdoch.
Yeah, so yes, and I have had to reduce I've had to reduce the amount of both that I've been doing, but now it used to be all over the map, but now the last couple of seasons have shot pretty much between May and October. So, which is kind of nice, and we'll try to like April. If we're shooting April or May, maybe we'll try to go out to BC for the first one, and because you're going to get some nice weather there and some nice scenery earlier in the summer than other places. And then you get into September, you get into the fall and the leaves, and it's great to be here in Southern Ontario or Quebec or those are that's the
down east. Yeah. Like, have you found yourself, are there weeks where your schedules collide and you've got to hurry back to the Murdoch set and jump into that?
Yes, there's been years of that, years and years and years of it.
Yeah.
I thought after 2 seasons of doing both shows, I was like, I can't.
Yeah.
It was like, I'll do this for one more year. I'll make hay while the sun shines for one more year, and then it turns into another, and then 10 more years. But I have, I did, I got full on burnout, and had to reduce the amount of episodes.
I bet,
that I was doing.
Yeah, because Murdoch's an hour show. It takes a lot of. It's a big show.
Yeah, we'll shoot 2 episodes over a 13-day shoot block. So a couple of weeks. You tack on the weekends, more than a couple of weeks. But
is it staggering to you that that's in its 19th season?
For any show to go 19 seasons, and considering that the last few years it's been 24 episodes a season.
Huge seasons.
That's a lot of.
Yes.
24-hour-long. Yeah. That's a lot of television.
You did Christmas movies some years as well on top of that. And, but Yannick's a pretty good number one, right?
Yeah.
He shows the way, I think. I've been to your set a few times. He seems like a genuine, a good guy, right?
Yeah. And he's professional.
Mm-hmm.
You hear crazy stories about number ones,
right?
But he gets the job done, and I'm impressed because none of us are getting any younger, and of course his workload has only increased in the last.
It's relentless, isn't it? Yeah.
With so many episodes.
Yeah.
But he's, I think he takes care of himself. He's in good shape. And even this past season, he seemed in good spirits. I know, any of us can get a bit run down and a bit, your mood sort of drops off. But, he seemed to be going pretty strong.
I love the story and the history of it is interesting where, you encounter. There was an episode where were you playing Chaplin or Stan Laurel?
Yeah, Chaplin. Yeah.
It was pretty damn funny. It was pretty slapstick. Right? It looked like a silent movie.
And they did the great gag with Yannick where the
roof fell down.
Yeah, the facade of the house.
Buster Keaton.
Yeah, Buster Keaton. That's right. Yeah.
My God. Yeah.
That's a good gag, and it worked great.
Yeah. No,
that was one thing where it's like, oh man, if this goes wrong,
right? You take your head off.
There goes our lead actor.
So, anything else about this season that's still standing? You go to 10 episodes?
8 episodes.
8 episodes. What was is the first one the wine field in BC?
That's the first one we shot. I don't know what order they're going to air in, but that was a great one, and of course Acton is in there, and Flin Flon, Manitoba is going to be an interesting one.
I haven't seen that one.
That's going to be, because it's sort of like wacky and hijinks, and also there's this heartbreaking, Denier Beach, a neighborhood of Flin Flon, got wiped out by wildfire, and the whole town had been evacuated. We were supposed to go there early in the season, and like our gear truck was on the way, and they had a mandatory evacuation.
Wow.
And then we bumped it to the end of our shoot schedule, so we got there like 3 months later, and they've done an amazing, they've done an incredible cleanup job already to get ready for the rebuild, but it's
isn't there famous hockey players from Flin Flon?
They produce a lot of NHLers for a small, because it was a big, it was a mining operation. When they built the mine, it was said to be the biggest industrial project since the Panama Canal.
Wow.
And wasn't superseded until they built the Hoover Dam a few years later. But it was like a massive, massive operation. And they took care of they had a big, a thriving art scene and a huge, and a successful hockey team, when the company was looking for miners, because it's a community that's growing, just like the mine is the only reason anyone is there. So the company, when they're hiring, they're also looking for what can you contribute to a community, not just punch your hours at the mine. So hockey players, artists, teachers, and all that kind of thing.
I wanted to ask too, just quickly, I know your time is precious here, but I love how you jump into these towns and then you assume a role just about every episode. I don't know if it was in St. Thomas, where there was the guy who was dressed as had a sort of a drag queen, and he had a cow udder on.
Oh yeah, was that St. Thomas, or was that?
Was that Acton, or?
Was Acton, or was it Armprior?
Maybe it was Armprior. I think I watched a bit of that as well. But then you're putting on 6-inch heels and makeup and mascara and stuff, and then you got stuck in the mud with the other guy in that Jeep through the. The big tire.
Oh, yeah, that was in Acton.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know, sorry, that was in St. Thomas.
Yeah. But you obviously look for things where you can just have fun, right?
Yeah.
And it's great. It really makes, in a way, your job, you have this opportunity to act on a scripted series, but also have this whole other performance life that's a very different set of muscles, right?
Yeah. And I think one kind of helps the other. Since I started doing Still Standing, memorizing the set, I found that on Murdoch Mysteries, I could memorize lines 10 times more quickly. I could sort of read a scene 2 or 3 times and know it. And I think it's just like a sort of a muscle, like a memory muscle in your brain that sort of gets worked and becomes more efficient. But actually, I think it's the drag, but when there's stuff like that, the drag queen thing, and it's it's going to pay off as a sheer visually.
Yes.
It's going to be interesting or funny.
Yeah.
I don't need to rely too much on my brain to come up with something funny to say about it.
There's not a lot of writing involved.
Yeah.
It's fun.
And then, in St. Thomas, it was the last episode of the season. So when the guy's talking about how he can shave stuff in your head,
that was awesome.
Shapes in your head.
Yeah.
I was like, I got nowhere to be after that show. I don't need to have decent hair for anybody.
It's a great episode. Well, Jonny, it's great to talk to you. I hope to talk a little further. I'd love to do more of a podcast, but thanks for this.
my thanks again to Jonny Harris, who's a fine gentleman with a Tuesday night CBC series really made for these elbow-up times. Thanks as always to technical producer Phil Hong for making sure these episodes are, well, still standing every week. Kudos again to BJ Del Conte, Paul Boudra, and Stephen Dudley for the music heard on these episodes. And finally, thanks to you, listener. We'll be back again next week with more interviews from returning CBC shows. I'm Bill Brio. Thanks for listening.